Welcome into No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. I am your host, Joe Zolo. Contrary to my outfit, it is not the 4th of July. It is March 2nd. I was just wearing this jersey today, and now you guys get to see it on stream. We are now talking a preview of the wide receivers for free agency, and as always, as I laid my eyes on the show doc 20 minutes ago, I was surprised at how many free agent wide receivers there are. So this is going to be a very jam-packed show. And joining us, hopefully, fashionably late, Kyra Wiaterowski, co-host of DFS and Chill at FF_fantasy. Kyra, no, Josh is shaking his head in the back. So is Ryan. I have no idea. Kyra's late. I can't read her thing underneath. I don't know what her name is. She'll be in here soon. Let's get into the show. Welcome into No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. I am your host, Joe Zolo. Joining me, as always, Joshua Hudson and Ryan Weiss. And as the intro video was playing, the lovely Kyra has joined us. Kyra, how are you?
Now you can see her Twitter handle, Joe.
You can see her Twitter handle. Yeah, Kyra, I butchered your Twitter handle, by the way. So
you're destroying my girl.
What the hell did you put? What could there be said different about this?
I said FF_fantasy Kyra or something like that, and it was
just started
real dyslexic about it.
It was wrong. Well,
that's okay as long as it's good.
And
now.
Joe gets on me about my hosting abilities. Like, Jesus Christ, come on, Joe.
Yeah, I don't need people looking up the wrong shit, Joe. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
What's going on, guys? Long time no see.
Yes.
Been a hot minute, Kyra.
You are missed. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. You're like, yo, try to get on here for 6:50. I'm like driving home. I just got my brakes and rotors done on my car. I'm like, I just pray I make it for 7.
I told him, as someone who does a show with Kyra every week, if we're here by 7:05, this is a win.
We're early.
It's a good week.
Yeah, so, I need to work on being more punctual. That'll happen in year 3.
There you go. That's
fantastic. So
I like it.
I know we're talking receivers, but Johnny brought up, is it still Jeff Wilson season? I don't know.
It's never been Jeff Wilson season.
Well, it was Jeff Wilson season in like 2020.
When he's a Miami Dolphin next year, sure.
When he's a Miami Dolphin? No, that was a bad joke. I take that back. I take everything back.
It's only ever Jeff Wilson week. Like there's
that's true.
He doesn't get a
season. Hey, Raheem Mostert drive.
Yeah, Raheem Mostert drive. Jeff Wilson week.
And
Trey Sermon ever? I don't know.
Trey Sermon IR is where he will end up. Okay. I'm going to read you guys off a list of, I'm going to wildly guess 25 names. I feel like that's about roughly the amount of names currently that I am looking at for free agents. That does not include restricted free agents, where there are a couple guys that could potentially move to a new team and maybe make a difference, like Jeff Wilson does, for maybe a week or two on your fantasy teams. It's not going to be I would say a season-long difference, but could be something where if a couple guys get hurt, this person could be plugged in and immediately make an impact. So let's start. And how we always do it, or how Josh always lines them up, is receiver, where they finished, all the way down. So we're going from wide receiver 2, Davante Adams, all the way down to he was ranked wide receiver 83, Will Fuller.
My God.
Scored like 8 fantasy points this year.
You know what? Good for him. So Davante Adams, obviously a Green Bay Packer. Mike Williams, just a free agent. Los Angeles Chargers, wide receiver 12. Chris Godwin, wide receiver 15. That rounds out your wide receiver 2s. Then you go down to Christian Kirk and Russell Gage. Gage was wide receiver 38, so he was close to cracking the top 36. Then you drop down to the 40s and 50s of AJ Green, our boy, me and Ryan. Cedric Wilson, Emmanuel Sanders, Odell Beckham Jr., and Byron Pringle, everyone's favorite sleeper from the 2020 fantasy football season that I put. Let's go. I remember the one game he scored a touchdown, and I came on the next show. I said, "Told you guys, it was gonna happen." I told you.
I'm just glad it's finally Demarcus Robinson season.
Demarcus Robinson. Oh, yeah. If it's Demarcus Robinson season, it's definitely Jeff Wilson season.
That's fair.
Definitely Jeff Wilson season. Okay. Then you drop down into the 60s. Braxton Barrios and Jamison Crowder. Zayd Jones also in there, who kind of came on late. Good evening, Albert. How are you, sir? Zayd Jones, sorry, just mentioned his name. Zach Pascal coming in at 74. Michael Gallop also in there. Traquan Smith. Josh, you wrote void there. I don't know what that means. Is that a void contract year? Is that what it means?
Yes, I believe so, because AJ Green has it as well.
Okay, thank you. Oh yeah, I didn't see AJ Green, so I was too busy. I was too busy hyping him up because Ryan and I were big timing.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. So next one, Allen Robinson. God, it is tough to see his name at wide receiver 81. So I want you to imagine this, everybody. I want you to imagine a world where Ryan and Josh both ranked Hunter Renfrow in the 60s of their preseason wide receiver rankings and put Allen Robinson inside their top 24. And I want you to look at where they each finished.
Top 10, I think.
Did he finish top 10?
Well, no. I had Allen Robinson.
You had him in your top 10?
Yeah, I think I had him at wide receiver 9. Dude, we went over this like a month ago.
Wow,
yeah, I had so much volume headed his way.
I love that.
He's been consistently a wide receiver, like top 10 wide receiver almost every year.
We thought he was QB proof until this year.
Until
he
Justin
was
Fields
until this
and Andy
year.
Dalton. Yeah.
If you
Okay, so Allen Robinson,
Bortles, you should be able to survive anything.
who was tied with Marquez Valdez-Scantling at 81. Josh Reynolds, Keelan Cole, T.Y. Hilton coming in the 90s. Sammy Watkins in his one semi-good week last year at 102. Demarcus Robinson season at 104. James Washington in his lone touchdown, I think, at 108. Chris Conley in that one game against Jacksonville at 111. Juju Smith-Schuster in his TikTok account at 132. DJ Chark in his torn ACL at 134. And Will Fuller in his entire drug cabinet at 183.
Oh,
So,
man, brutal.
I mean, I got to make the 100s interesting. Come on.
Yeah.
They certainly aren't doing it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm glad everyone got a laugh. So should I do it with the restricted free agents too? Let's see. Jacoby, I finally found the touchdown. Myers is the first restricted free agent at wide receiver 29. I didn't know.
You know what? For him only scoring 2 touchdowns and then finishing in the top 30, I think that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Allen, I'm the new number 1 in Green Bay. Lazard when Davante Adams leaves at wide receiver 47. Deontay, I'm second ranked Pro Football Focus's wide receiver motherfucker at number 62.
It's literally the only reason I put him on that list, Joe, is so you can make that joke
Pile
again.
of shit. Olamide, I have the coolest last name in the NFL, Zacchaeus. In Ashton, I caught that one touchdown Doolin. There you go, 125. Wow. Potential trade or cut candidates. Mike 1,000-yard season Evans at 9. DK, I'm faster than Buda Baker Metcalf at 14. Brandon, the only quarterback-proof wide receiver at 20. Amari, I take days off Cooper at 27. Jarvis, I'm too old to do anything. Landry at 52. I won't make fun of Calvin Ridley at 101. Bottom 10 teams in passing yards last year. Taysom Hill's Saints at 32nd. Daniel Jones's Giants at 31. Matt Nagy's former team, the Bears, at 30. Sam Darnold and Cam Newton's Panthers at 29. What the hell? The Texans beat all these teams? That's disgusting at 28. Baker, I think he might be on the Browns next year. Mayfield at 27 with the Browns. Carson, I'm about to get cut. Wentz at 26 with the Colts. The Eagles, I'm the number 1 rushing team that can't find the end zone for Miles Sanders at 25th. The Titans, I rely on Derrick Henry at 24th. And Pete, I have no idea what I'm doing. Carroll and the Seahawks at 23rd.
That might be the only surprise of the whole top 10 or bottom 10 is Seattle. You would expect with the only one with an elite quarterback of that group would have done more. And the thing that shocked me most about Seattle was how few plays they got off last year. I think they were the fewest plays in the entire league last year. It was disgusting. So what a waste.
Yeah, bad offense all around last year. All right. I mean, I guess let's just start with Albert's question, because I mean it kicks it off. I'm going to assume this is Christian Kirk and not Kirk Cousins, because we're talking receivers. So Christian Kirk, wide receiver 26 last year. I would venture to say that's probably higher than most people had him ranked preseason. If not, someone probably had him as at most a low-end wide receiver 2, which would have been 23, 24. So with that being said, D-Hop still under contract, obviously. Zach Ertz, is he technically still there, or no? He was on a one-year deal.
He's a free agent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you look at it, it's DeAndre Hopkins, and that's the only weapon the Cardinals currently have under contract. So,
Rondale.
Kira, who?
Rondale.
Yeah,
He was right.
I know what I said. The only threat they have under contract. Kira, do you think Christian Kirk gets re-signed in Arizona for those reasons, or does another team try and pursue him as their potential next number 2?
So I personally think that he's going to stay in Arizona, but I have 2 destinations that I would like for him to go to, or I think he would be a good fit in. My absolute favorite for Kirk, aside from staying in Arizona, is that if he went to Buffalo Bills and he could replace Cole Beasley, I mean, you'd basically be replacing reliability with reliability, but giving it some youth and burst. I think he'd be a great complement in that offense, and just another, playmaker for Josh Allen. I think that he would be a great fit there in the slot. My other team that I would be excited to see Kirk Cousin sign with, I could see him being a good fit in New England. He can be that slot receiver who has just also has an ability to use his speed deep. And according to Pro Football Focus, Kirk ranks as one of the most effective deep ball scenarios in the NFL. And believe it or not, he has a high catch percentage, period. He's reliable, and Belichick likes reliability, as do most people. But I can see him latching on to Mac Jones and that being a good fit for him.
Ryan.
Almost. So I think New England should go after one of the studs, and your brother just hit it in the chat. I think Calvin Ridley should be their target. But New England does boring shit, and that's where I think it's going to end up being Christian Kirk. And I do think it is a good fit. I could also see Cleveland making a play for him, because he could do something for them, and maybe even Chicago. New England would be my favorite. I think I like New England even better than re-signing. But I personally don't think he's the best fit for New England. I think they need to go after one of the alphas that are available.
I'll tell you the boring signings the Pats will do. Don't worry. Josh, what do you think?
I think this is going to be an instance where we all want Christian Kirk to land in a place that's going to help him in fantasy, and it's going to end up like Corey Davis. He's going to take the most money from a bad team with a lot of salary cap space because he's only 25. Young teams with young quarterbacks want to pair young quarterbacks with younger veteran players, and that's what Christian Kirk is. He had career highs last year in just about every single category. He ran predominantly out of the slot. That tells me that, and I've been preaching this for probably the last 3 years with Christian Kirk. He is at his best when he's running from the slot. When Arizona was trying to make him an outside receiver over the last couple of years, that's what was holding him back. When they brought in AJ Green, they ran a lot more 4 wide receiver sets now with Cliff Kingsbury here in Arizona. This is where Christian Kirk shines. Put him in the slot. Let him do his thing. He set, again, career highest catch percentage, as Kira hit upon in his career last year at over 76%. Get him somewhere I think the Jets will make the most sense out of these bad teams. I do like the Buffalo call just because that's a better offense.
I think it's better fit with him in the slot too. You know what I mean? I think he definitely hit his ceiling last year. Like, I don't think we should expect him to get better than what he was last year. Maybe if he goes to somewhere like Buffalo that has that high powered offense, he could see a lot of the same, but he's definitely not wide receiver 1 caliber. I don't mean that he should be the wide receiver 1 in New England. I still think they need to go after people, or they need to attack it in the draft or something like that. But I just see him being a good fit over the middle. Keep him in the slot. I don't think that he should move out of there, period.
Yeah, I think with the Jets, it's like that's their missing piece in terms of wide receivers, right? They spent that second round pick with Elijah Moore. They spent money on Corey Davis. If Corey Davis is healthy, he can be a number 1 on a bad team. Okay. He can be a number one on a bad team. Elijah Moore, everybody seems to think has superstar potential. Christian Kirk can work the middle in the slot. They have the 5th highest salary cap space at over $48 million currently. They can pay Kirk the type of money that he's probably going to want to seek. And that's where the Bills are at a disadvantage because they're roughly $8 million over the cap currently. I understand these are variables that are definitely going to change, but this just screams a mediocre to above average player seeking a big contract and going to a team that has the cap space to pay.
Ryan, I thought you wanted to say something. So
I was just going to throw in that the Browns fit that bill as well, especially if they're going to move on from Landry, because they already have a ton of cap space. And then if they move on for Landry, there's going to be savings there. Kirk could come in and do almost a hybrid of what they were trying to get OBJ to do and could never get it done, and what Landry wanted to get done but couldn't because he was hurt. Now, Landry wants to be there, so there's no idea what the Browns are going to do. That's an interesting situation, but the Jets make a lot of sense as well. I was just going to throw in, we did this with the running back show. Buffalo is going to be a great fit for everybody. They can't afford anybody. I don't see Buffalo making any splash. Yeah.
So, I mean, Kirk to the Pats would be great. I'll take it. That's an actual receiver. So I'm going to tell you exactly what the New England Patriots are going to do in free agency this year. They're going to sign Braxton Barrios back to their team. They will sign Zach Pascal, and they will resurrect 1 year of T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, that's kind of like what they did last year. They signed absolutely everybody but nobody at the same time.
Hey.
I think Allen Robinson is going to come to the realization that coaching is a problem, and I honestly think Allen Robinson is the one who ends up in New England.
Fine. Thank you.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
I'll take that.
Because
that's what I think you're going to get with Robinson. He's going to be one of those guys that he's not going to see that big payday coming off a franchise tag in the worst season of his career. He's looking at best a 1 year deal, probably a veteran minimum. At that point, go sign with a contender. New England
go sign with a contender.
If Allen Robinson still has a number one potential, that's where he's going to fit best. I could also see him maybe playing second fiddle with Arizona, kind of doing the AJ Green role there if they don't bring him back.
Sign me up. I'll take A-Rob. But to get to G's couple comments here. It says dumb report saying the asking value for Calvin Ridley is a second-round pick and Chase Winovich from the Pats, which would be a dumb steal for Calvin Ridley. Like that's not. I mean, I would venture to say most casual fantasy football players don't know who Chase Winovich is, and if you don't, good, because he's the backup edge rusher for the Patriots. So, not good.
That's a big weakness for Atlanta too. Though I don't know how true any of these reports are, but it's not enough for Calvin Ridley, but it makes sense for Atlanta as well. So
it's not enough, but also if he doesn't want to be in Atlanta and he literally just took off all of last year for his mental health, if he's not going to play again, I'll take a second and Chase Winovich.
Where did the Calvin Ridley needs to be out of Atlanta report start? Did any of this come from him? Like I haven't followed this, but I started seeing it pop up a couple weeks ago. And to my knowledge, if you have an NFL team, let's say he did have a mental breakdown, and obviously I don't know the man's situation, but if you have an NFL team who supports you, and again, I don't know that Atlanta did support him, but if they did, why are you looking to jump ship? You just took a fucking year off to get your mind right. You have an employer who supported it, and now you're like, oh, you're the problem. I need to get the fuck out of here. It's the whole situation seems weird to me.
Part of the problem could just be the team, the city is the cause of the mental health.
They did bring up
if he has to drive in that traffic, that shit'll cause a mental breakdown.
Maybe it's like the losing mentality. They haven't been winners in a long time. Maybe that's getting to them. I think that the trade rumors started because I know that the NFL rumors account that, I mean, they have 75,000 followers. They're pretty credible for the most part. I think they heard from beat reporters out of Atlanta that was what they were going to do to move him, is they intended to trade him.
They were talking about it in season 2 that Ridley wasn't happy in Atlanta. Again, I don't know how
I missed it.
I don't know how real it was, and if it was beat reporters, it was from him, but it was talked about. To not spend too much time on Ridley because we'll talk about his landing spot later. A little preview to the young guys. Anyone know who John Metchi is?
Alabama receiver.
Yeah, so
he got hurt earlier in the year before Jameson Williams got hurt in the championship.
Who were they? They were playing a team in overtime. Auburn. They were playing Auburn in overtime. This is not a joke. 5 straight plays. They went to John Metchi. 5 straight plays. Now let me lay this out for you. Auburn was up, losing. They said, okay, we're going to score in overtime. Bang. We're not going to cover John Metchi. That was their game plan, not cover him. He had 3 scores in overtime and 5 total catches on 5 plays. He's that fucking good. Now, I don't think he's the best one. G and I saw this person from USC. Drake London is ridiculous. And I know USC has produced some actually pretty decent guys recently. Woods, Michael Pittman's been showing out. There's one other guy I can't think of off the top of my head that's a USC guy.
Juju.
I don't want to give any credit to Juju.
Nelson Aguilar?
Okay, Nelson Aguilar is drop city. Nelson Aguilar is drop city. So Drake London is coming off a torn ACL. I believe it's a torn ACL because at the game we were at, he did tear his ACL. But dude's 6'4" and moves like a slot receiver. It's unbelievable. So there's going to be a lot of good young receivers that we'll be excited to talk about when it comes to the draft. And GL says the salary cap is BS. The Saints have been under for years, but also over for years. Excuse me. The Saints haven't made a splash.
Thank you. So that's all I was going to say is I agree. You can get players with a bad salary cap. It's not, but you're not going to make a splash. Buffalo is not going to make a splash. And I understand they're not fucking 80 million over whatever New Orleans is, but they still they have guys of their own they got to take care of. There's too much going on for Buffalo to go out and get another big wide receiver when you already went out and got one of the best route runners in the league. So
they got to pay Gabe Davis, wide receiver 1 money.
Yeah. I mean, he's the best. I mean, the wide receiver 1 money, according to fantasy Twitter. So.
Yeah, of course. Alexis throws in Braxton Barrios as the 101 in return yard leagues.
Hey, I love me some Braxton Barrios as a Miami Hurricanes fan, but he's
electric.
I think teams will want him to be Hunter Renfrow, and he's just not Hunter Renfrow.
Hey, he's electric though. Little bit of electricity in those boots he's got.
I'm legitimately terrified how highly I'm going to rate Hunter Renfrow in a Josh McDaniels system. It's not going to be pretty.
In a Josh McDaniels system with Jimmy Garoppolo throwing him the football?
With Derek Carr throwing him the football.
Okay. Either way, it's great. Daniel adds in Metchi's a beast. There's a lot of really good wide receivers in this class, and the best part is...
Yeah, and I don't even think Metchi's in the top 10 conversation for most people.
Yeah, so the best part is the Patriots are going to draft the worst one, so it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter who the Pats draft. Whoever they draft, it's the worst one.
Yeah.
It's the worst one. It doesn't matter where. Yeah. Lee adds Wandel Robinson. He's also unbelievable. Like the receivers in this class, if this receiver class eerily kind of feels like the 2014 one with Beckham, Landry, Mike Evans, that class.
I don't think it's as top heavy as that one. I think this class is really deep and it has some really good contributors. But I don't know how, that class produced a lot of superstars. I don't know if this one's going to produce a lot of superstars.
Well, I say that because Bucky Brooks in his mock draft has Garrett Wilson going at 10 to the Jets, Drake London at 13 to the Browns, Chris Olave from Ohio State. He has 2 Ohio State receivers going in the top 16. Olave going to the Eagles at 16. You go down a little more into the 20s, and that's where it starts getting into some of these other guys. Jameson Williams from Alabama going at 25 to the Bills. Jahan Dotson from Penn State going to the Titans. He has 5 receivers going in the first round.
And that didn't even mention Treylon Burks, who is arguably the best one of all of them.
Or John Metchi. It's such a good class. It is such a good class.
If the Eagles take Chris Olave over Treylon Burks, I will be so sick. I would be so
Rager over Jefferson all over again.
Remember when they took Jalen Rager?
Fucking thing.
Well, I saw again. I don't follow any of this half as much as you guys until it's way closer or even post draft. But I've seen where fantasy people like Burks better than NFL people. Does that seem to still?
Well, it's one of those things where us as fantasy players, we're looking at talent and what can you do offensively. NFL teams, they're obviously looking at that as well, but they also want to see the intangibles. Are you run blocking? What's your footwork like? And your knowledge of the playbook and the route tree and all these other things that we're looking at more of the natural instincts and the natural talent that goes on the football field. Because that's what we see. We're not in meetings and things of that nature.
The Eagles, so I
suck at developing wide receivers.
Okay, so thank you, because that's where I was going to go, or drafting. So would the Eagles be the first team since the early 2000 Lions to go wide receiver in the first round 3 years in a row? I think this would be a terrible. I'm going to throw it out there. I think it's a mistake for the Eagles to go wide receiver. I think they need to go veteran free agent wide receiver, because you have youth. You need somebody to come in there and show them how to be a professional. Allen Robinson's a guy I would love to see in Philadelphia. Calvin Ridley, go make that trade for one of these damn ones and be done with it. I know Kyra's been pitching Calvin Ridley to the Eagles since I followed her on Twitter before he even had a mental breakdown. So is the traffic better in Philly? I don't know, but
definitely not. It is definitely not better in Philly.
I will say that Atlanta traffic is bad. That's one I've actually experienced.
Yeah, but Philadelphia was built in the 1700s, so there's no way it's better.
Yeah, it could be pretty damn bad. Doesn't matter what time of day.
Atlanta was destroyed by the North and then had to be rebuilt around rubble.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It was rebuilt in the late 1800s. So,
if you want to really get into it, if you go back through legislation,
shut up. This is stupid.
All right.
Atlanta's
highways came in and they
Atlanta's highways were built to promote racism. But anyway, let's move on. 100% true.
Southern state.
What a weird. Okay. Wow. Georgia. Really repping the South proud, baby. Okay. So I'm going to read you off the teams with the biggest needs, and we're going to talk about a couple that I think could potentially. Shut up, Ryan. There's a couple that. What?
It's not weird, or it's not often that my weird bullshit that I dive into gets to make it to the show. I was happy to throw that out.
You're welcome.
There, so.
Yeah, I allowed it this time. So I'm going to dive into these teams, and a couple of the teams I'm going to pick out, I believe, are a receiver and maybe one or two other moves away from probably being at least a divisional round, if not a conference championship team. So Elixir says Atlanta was originally named Terminus. I don't know if that's true.
A Walking Dead joke.
Okay, that's what I thought. Because I'm like, that's from The Walking Dead. And then he added the sunglasses emoji after. I'm like, that's not true. There's no way. No one in the 1700s is like, yeah, Terminus. That's part of our vocab. There's no way. All right. Teams with the biggest needs. The Lions. Their top three receivers, Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond, and Kaderil Hodge, are all free agents. So Lions fans rejoice. They're never coming back. Jets obviously have to get Wilson some weapons. Jamison Crowder, Keelan Cole, Braxton Barrios, all free agents. And as we all know, Corey Davis is not a top 30 wide receiver, and he's terrible. So
we don't all know that.
We all know that. Who's not all of us?
Me, bitch. I love Corey Davis.
Oh, okay. The Packers, Davante Adams, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Allen Lazard, all free agents currently, and also they have no cap space. Currently, their number one is Equanimous St. Brown?
No, he's a free agent too. I just didn't put him on that list.
Their number one is who's the wide receiver 5 on the Packers?
Amari Rogers?
Amari Rogers. Yeah.
Wow.
They drafted him in the 3rd round last year.
That is
all them rookie picks last year paying off finally.
They didn't. Yeah, they didn't want to draft a wide receiver whatsoever. They just absolutely refused. I think they took 2 tight ends instead. They were just toying with Aaron Rodgers or something.
Well, it was 4 years ago, that draft that they took MVS. They also took Equanimous, and then they took Jamon Moore, who was the SEC receiver of the year or something. They took him in the 4th round. They took him earlier in the other 2, and he didn't.
It went 3 straight receivers.
Yeah.
Jeez. I'm sorry. I'm looking up the Packers depth chart right now because I really do want to know who is even.
Well, like I said, Lazard is restricted, so they can offer sheet him. So, if I had to say, he'd be the one that would come back.
Hold on.
And I can't imagine anyone's sniping Lazard from them. So
All right. So let's say all their free agents, restricted or unrestricted, don't come back. Here's their receiver room currently going into free agency. Randall Cobb is your wide receiver 1.
boom.
Amari Rogers, Jawan Winfrey,
Yeah.
Chris Blair, and Rico Gafford.
Yikes.
What a lineup, if you ask me.
If that
Come
doesn't
back,
bring,
Aaron Rodgers.
if that doesn't bring Aaron Rodgers back to the table, I don't know what does.
That supporting cast is really awesome.
Did you also know Danny Etling is signed to their roster?
Of course. Who?
Blows my mind.
Quarterback at LSU before Burrow got there.
I thought he was a quarterback. Okay, I feel
No,
better
Danny
about.
Etling he's their 4th string quarterback on their roster currently.
I know that there were some teams, I don't know who it was because he's bounced around, because I think he was drafted initially by the Patriots.
He was
that were
7th
trying to
round
move
pick.
him around to like wide receiver as well.
I think Atlanta was trying to do that with him.
Okay.
It did not work, for the record. It did not work. So, speaking of Atlanta, the Falcons, Ridley could be traded. Gage and Zacchaeus are free agents, probably building around Kyle Pitts any which way they can. Steelers, Juju Smith-Schuster, James Washington, both free agents. Juju's going to be a TikTok star, so we can just check him off the list. The Saints, Michael Thomas returns. Who's the wide receiver 2? The second best wide receiver, according to Pro Football Focus. Deontay Harris will obviously be re-signed by the team. So Michael Thomas hopefully returns and plays football games. So, and yeah, Jesus, Pat's legend, Danny Etling. He definitely did not have a 4.1 40-yard dash. I
think that period's in the wrong spot. It's
41.
Yeah.
41.4. Yeah. Well, his most electric play was a 91-yard touchdown run in the preseason against the Giants. Electric. Absolutely unbelievable player. We got so excited, and I'm pretty sure we practice squatted him and then cut him later in the season. So the Bears, Darnell Mooney is the new wide receiver 1 who operates next to him. Oh, Darnell Mooney, the true wide receiver 1 in Chicago now. So excited. Absolutely electric. The Texans, did they build around Brandon Cooks, or do they say F it and get rid of everybody? Or build around the youth, excuse me. Browns, keep Landry at the center, blow up the wide receiver core, get rid of Baker Mayfield, say, hey, we effed up. We're gonna move on. The Colts, Pittman took a leap. Who compliments him? It's obviously not Zach Pascal. I don't think Indy resigns him for a second time.
Yeah.
T.Y. Hilton is done.
Yeah.
It's not Ashton Doolin. Who knows?
It's finally Paris Campbell.
That's another team that
Finally
I could see
Paris
potentially
Campbell.
going after Christian Kirk, putting him in the slot opposite Michael Pittman.
That could be a good one.
Yep.
The Eagles, 2 straight first-round wide receivers like we talked about. Devonta Smith works. Jalen Reagor doesn't. So, God, I remember talking about Jalen Reagor when he came out and saying TCU doesn't produce wide receivers, and I'm so happy that's continuing to hold up that pile of shit. The Jaguars, there's not much behind Marvin Jones.
There's plenty behind Marvin Jones.
Visca.
LaVisca Chenault, Jamal Agnew.
Okay, hold on. I will not stand for the Jamal
Laquan
Agnew
Treadwell.
slander.
Laquan Treadwell.
Yes.
Laquan Treadwell is on the Cordero Patterson plan for the NFL. He just needs 4 more years of obscurity, and then he's 13th year breakout.
Except Cordero Patterson is one of the best kick returners ever. Laquan Treadwell, I'm pretty sure
Give him time.
Laquan Treadwell has as many catches as Cordero Patterson has kick returns in his career. Like attempts, not even just Jamal Agnew, I will not stand for. Jamal Agnew is one of the best returners currently in the NFL.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because he's going to kick return his way into a job, but is Peterson going to give him the ops that Meyer gave him? So
Elixir's going Barrios at the 101, Jamal Agnew at the 102 in PPR leagues. So
I like
these are return yards leagues.
Yeah.
No. Nope.
Yards
This is straight PPR leagues. Nope. Barrios, Jamal Agnew, he's riding. He traded up to the 102 to get Jamal Agnew to make sure he had.
Got to get both.
Got to get both. The Patriots, will they get a true wide receiver 1 for Mac Jones? Because clearly Jonnu Smith can't figure out the playbook or stay healthy. The Cardinals.
Nelson Aguilar.
Nelson Aguilar can't catch. Let's call it what it is. Nelson Aguilar can't catch. The Cardinals, AJ Green, Christian Kirk are free agents. Unless they really want to make another run, I don't think AJ Green gets re-signed. AJ Green probably goes to an actual contender.
I was gonna say he's AJ Green's chasing rings at this point.
Yeah,
so.
he's 100% chasing a ring. You know a team that needs a receiver opposite Tyreek Hill? The Chiefs. Yeah. They could use a big body receiver. That's not DeMarcus Robinson season. And the Bucs could be approaching just a full-on rebuild. So do they trade Mike Evans and just say, we're riding with Tyler Johnson as our one, and we are just going to try and tank and maybe see if we can find something.
They've been doing this through the draft for the last couple of years now because they added Jalen Darden, I think, in the 4th last year. So
he's terrible.
I'm not saying he's not, but what I'm saying is they have the youth in place on cheap contracts already, and maybe it's time just to stack chips at this point. So,
and I'm not vouching Tyler Johnson as a one, but Tyler Johnson's a good receiver.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of hype for him coming out in Minnesota, right?
Yes, Minnesota. He was the 3rd rounder, I think. I think that's when they took him, 3rd round.
I think he fell to the 5th.
No. Did he?
Tyler Johnson?
Look it up.
He didn't go that early. There was some character concerns, I think, and that's why he slipped.
Look it up while G talks about give me Damney motherfucker Amendola. The man doesn't drop the ball. White boy gangster. That's
oh, Jesus Christ.
It was the 5th round.
It was the 5th round, really? I thought he was taken in the 3rd. Maybe that was his projected.
You're mixing up Brian Edwards.
I definitely was not thinking of Brian Edwards.
Well,
so
Brian Edwards went in the 3rd. So.
Okay. I think Tyler Johnson's projected round was the 3rd. I think that's where I'm pulling that from. But from this list of teams, I truly only see one where if they add an actual receiver, they become so much better, and it's the Patriots. Because, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, and you can say you disagree, and there's another team here. The Lions, trash. The Jets, trash. The Packers, that whole situation is a mess. So we're just not even going to talk about that. The Falcons, at this point, go ahead, Ryan.
But we talked about they are the leaders in the NFC South right now. That is a bad division, and they need to fix that offense. And if you're going to build around an old, immobile, not good Matt Ryan, you better get some fucking wide receivers. So.
Yes. The Steelers, we don't know who their quarterback is. The Saints also don't know who their quarterback is. The Bears, do they even have a quarterback in Justin Fields? The Texans, same question with Davis Mills. The Browns, also, do they have a quarterback? The Colts, same fucking question, apparently. The Eagles, we know they have a quarterback. The issue is they can't find receivers, and they seem to be wanting to go young. And there's just something, and again, Eagles fans, correct me if I'm wrong, something just seems off. Something just seems like they just can't win when they need to. That's just me. That's an outsider's opinion. Kira's nodding.
We're going to touch on this here in a second, though. If Dallas loses Amari Cooper, I think that hurts them badly.
Yeah.
And the Eagles are then in a spot. The Giants aren't doing it yet, and Washington's probably still a quarterback away, a year away, 2 years away. The Eagles could make that leap if they had the right team in place. But if you're just going to keep going youth at wide receiver and hope you find Justin Jefferson, who you passed up on, I don't know how it's going to work. So.
Yeah, I felt like the whole time I watched them on offense this season, I just kept thinking how desperately they needed a veteran wide receiver out there. They're just too young. That core is so young, and there was no one to take any pressure off of Devonta Smith. He was a rookie coming in there, and he was just getting double teamed, and there was no Jalen Reagor to go to, Quez Watkins, who, he had his moments, but when you pair him being inconsistent, you pair Jalen being inconsistent sometimes, it seemed like they really needed a big body veteran presence out there, someone else other than Dallas Goedert in the red zone. Like it just felt like they were one wide receiver away from being a better offense. Yeah. Defensively, there's obviously a lot. We needed a better pass rush. We needed linebacker.
We need a better scheme. Scheme. That soft shell coverage that Gannon likes to run, and pair that with the fact that the defensive ends, they don't get any pressure. Like I think we were bottom 5 in the league in sacks or something like that. Like it was rough.
Bad.
I didn't plan on spending this amount of time talking about the Eagles. I want to talk about the Falcons, and this would be the perfect time for Angie to come in here. Elixir says the Falcons have Younghoe Koo and Kyle Pitts, and that's all they need. So currently, who if Gianni and Elixirs were running a team together, they would have Braxton Barrios at the 101. They would then draft Jamal Agnew at the 102. Their starting quarterback would be Danny Etling. Danny Amendola would be their wide receiver 3. And they would take Younghoe Koo in the 5th. And Kyle, actually, no, they'd take Pitts a little earlier because Pitts is going to go earlier. So currently, their starting lineup would be Danny Etling throwing to Agnew, Barrios, and Danny Amendola with Younghoe Koo kicking and Kyle Pitts at tight end. Listen.
Sounds like a USFL team.
Yeah. Hey. All they need is Mike Davis at running back, and they have just the best group that you can possibly throw out there.
That's another team that's $7 million over the cap right now.
Yeah,
the Falcons.
Yeah.
Well, not to mention, isn't Matt Ryan 44 against the cap this year?
I believe
he has the single highest cap
history
in the history of the NFL this
year. Yeah, you know, for a stud like Matt Ryan.
Yeah. G says Javon Hargrave is the best player on the Eagles.
No, it's probably Slay.
Oh, big play Slay finally broke out last year.
Yeah, he had a really good year actually.
Oh, I love Darius Slay. Okay. The Jaguars. Seriously? Like why are they still in this fucking league? The USFL has been put together. Why are the Jaguars still in this league?
I'm excited to see what Jaguars
we don't play soccer rules of relegation. That's why.
I feel like the USFL fits Jacksonville's demographic perfectly. I don't know why. I just feel like that's a Jacksonville thing. And I think the Jaguars should take the step down and just go to the USFL. The Cardinals, they have D-Hop. And like I also don't feel receiver is their biggest issue. So I don't really add that in there. And then the Bucs.
Well, when you run the most 4 wide receiver sets in the league and half of them are free agents, it becomes a need.
I will throw out one thing. I think it would be a mistake for them to let Ertz go elsewhere. I think they
100%
bring Ertz.
Yeah, I think he really helped that offense at the end there.
Yep.
And the Cardinals currently sit somewhere for salary cap. They only have
less than $1 million over.
They're 20. They just are over the cap with 800,000.
No, currently they have 2.7 available.
But I was gonna say
they must have reworked something.
Yeah.
Well, as we talked about last week, though, they desperately need a running back.
Badly, yes.
Yeah.
And G says him and Elixir's going to the goddamn Super Bowl.
All right, let's do it.
It's get ready next year. My previous point stands. The Patriots are the only team where if you add a true wide receiver 1 to that roster, they get immensely better.
Yes.
So
I think it would help the Dolphins as well. I think they need one more outside of Jalen Waddle. I think that they would look a lot better if they did so because their defense actually wasn't half that bad. They need running back and an offensive line, but I mean, an extra wide receiver, take something off of Jalen Waddle there and stretch the field. I think would be great.
My concern is growing pains with the Dolphins because now you have all new everything. So.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just thought of this. If Mike McDaniels brings the same mantra from San Fran to the Dolphins,
and Jalen Waddle
is Jalen Waddle not like a third-round pick at that point?
Be like Debo. I hope he's like Debo Samuel.
Yeah.
Like, is Jalen Waddle not like a third-round pick at that point? Because that's
you could see second-round value in all honesty.
Jalen Waddle is going to play.
He's going to be a boss next year.
I'm excited.
That just clicked in my head, and that made me happy. So, I mean, not as a Pats fan, as someone who will probably and maybe hopefully draft Jalen Waddle, but we'll see.
Yeah.
He goes early in startups right now, real damn early.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
We've talked about A-Rob going to the Pats. We've talked about potentially, I mean, the rumors of Calvin Ridley being traded there, I think have been floated since week 4 of the last season. So of all these guys, I like Allen Robinson. Chris Godwin? I mean, that feels like a good fit. Really good route runner.
I feel like if you end up going the Chris Godwin route, though, there's no need for Jacoby Myers Godwin operates
in the slot,
70% out of the slot. Yeah.
But
I mean, if you're going to still run that McDaniel style system where the slot is king, then Godwin fits perfect. But now you're moving on from Myers.
Well, and that's fine. But so my point being with that is they ran Edelman and 2 tight ends. And well, obviously when Hernandez was there, but they ran Welker, Edelman, and 2 tight ends. Before they ran Edelman and Gronkowski. So they're not a stranger to having their slot be their number 1.
Oh no, not at all.
So I think that could be a move. If they want to go for the bigger body outside, I think Allen Robinson makes complete sense. I don't really see another guy here that I think would fit that or that Belichick would go after. I don't think Mike Williams can be a true one. I think he needs to be the deep threat, big body opposite a guy like Keenan Allen.
Yeah, he needs to stay right where his ass is.
Yes, he needs to stay right where he is. Because again, I mean, I'm looking at I think Allen Robinson is probably the best fit out of all of these guys. I mean, unless Bill Belichick really wants to prove a freaking point and get DJ Chark. Like, unless he really wants to prove a
guy,
point.
That's a Patriots type signing though. So
I don't even hate it. I actually like DJ Chark. I think that people forget, people get hurt and they just write him off and everything. But I think DJ Chark could come back and actually do some damage in the fantasy world again.
6'2", decent route runner. I don't know if he has his head screwed on right. Yeah, he's got really good hands, deep threat. So,
and plus, he got to avoid Urban Meyer last year. So, I mean, that probably worked out better for him than the rest of the
DJ Chark is actually 6'4".
I thought he was 6'2".
No, he's huge. Yeah.
Wow. Shane asked who the Jets signed. We talked about it. We've said Christian Kirk would be an ideal guy to go opposite or play in the slot with Corey Davis. Is there anyone else that we like to potentially?
I think it's Godwin.
I mean, if Godwin went.
I think Godwin's chasing the bag, and I think the Jets are going to give it to him. So.
Okay, there we go. Chris
Godwin.
I did
write, Joe. I will say that I also, in my notes for Chris Godwin, I put that New England, he just seemed like the perfect fit there.
It just feels, but here's the thing. Don't we say every year that the best slot receiver just feels like the perfect fit for New England? Because literally they invented the best 2 slot receivers. Like, they invented them. So
yeah,
I mean, no one knew who Wes Welker or Julian Edelman were until the slot was invented. It was already invented, but then Bill Belichick decided to make it a thing.
They normalized it. Yeah,
exactly. So, because me personally, I've been saying this for 2 seasons. I think Zach Pascal would be a fantastic wide receiver 2 on another team. I think it'd be great. And also, a guy that I just noticed that I didn't like coming out, Zayd Jones is a good big body receiver. But
he's looked a lot different with the Raiders than he did when he first
here's the thing. Is that not a Bill Belichick signing?
Well, you just did it last year with Nelson Aguilar. Now you're just bringing the next one over. You're just going to feed him from Las Vegas too.
They like Zayd Jones over in Las Vegas.
They do. Vegas will probably keep him.
I think so.
Yeah,
that's Carr's guy. Carr loves him.
100%. Shane also has. You don't think Elijah Moore will be the predominant?
He ran less than 30% of his routes from the slot last year. I know he did a lot in the slot at Ole Miss, but I think a lot of that had to do with he was playing with AJ Brown,
DK Metcalf and AJ Brown.
It's funny because when he was coming out, everyone kept putting him in the slot. And when the Jets took him, I was like, I don't think they have Barrios and they have Jamison Crowder. I think they're drafting him to be an outside guy.
I think he had one big touchdown. Well, he had one big touchdown where he caught for 75 yards. He ran a seam route from the slot. So I don't know if he's more productive in there.
I mean, again, you're running another San Francisco-esque system where they're going to move guys around all the 100%. Time. So, yeah.
And if you're looking at who's going to be the Deebo Samuel of those guys in that offense, it's probably Elijah Moore.
Absolutely.
So
even in those, like, the big weeks that he had, like week 9, 10, 11,
he was outside, right?
Yeah, he was mostly outside, like less than 25% of his routes each of those weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I remember he ran a quick slant in the red zone, and he outbodied a defensive back to catch the ball on a quick slant. So he feels small, but I feel like he's very good at using his
No, he
body
is
to-
small. He's only 5'9", 185.
I was gonna say,
but he plays so much bigger, I think.
I think the issue putting him in the slot, and I understand you don't want to take this stat for everything, especially in a rookie year. He only caught 50% of the balls thrown his way last year. You want way more than that out of a slot wide receiver. So.
Yeah, but also Zach Wilson was throwing.
Yeah,
him
he'll be throwing it to him next year too.
But
So.
1 year under his belt.
I'm just saying 56% is not the number I want out of a slot wide receiver.
I agree.
Braxton Barrios 71, Jamison Crowder 72%. So,
Well, we just found out he's not a slot receiver. So,
boom.
Answers the question. And because Corey Davis can't break coverage to save his life, Elijah Moore was the deep threat on that team for the most part.
Corey Davis scored in every game he was supposed to score.
That's why I said, and this is where I think Mike Williams fits in that same category. Mike Williams can be a really good, like 1B number 2 guy in a good offense, like he is with the Chargers in LA, or he's a number 1 on a bad team that's ultimately going to disappoint fantasy managers.
But here's the thing: Mike Williams' jump ball, it puts Corey Davis to shame.
Absolutely,
so he's actually good in the red zone. Corey Davis puts on his night mask in the red zone because he can't see.
And all it takes is one jump ball for Mike Williams to miss 10 weeks. We know this.
Whatever. That it is what it is. Mike Williams is a wide receiver 1.
Whatever.
Corey Davis. What did Corey Davis end? What was his season-ending ranking?
It's probably somewhere in the 80s. It was bad.
He missed 10 games, I think, 6 games, something like that.
I don't care. It's still bad. It was still terrible. Okay. Now we're going to get to our rapid fire here.
Hold on. I want to throw something out real quick.
No.
I just want to make sure I'm right. I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Okay. If you could hurry up with this.
Okay,
process.
no, never mind. I'm wrong. Let's move on.
Where did Corey Davis end?
No. I was looking to see. I thought Corey Davis and Mike Williams. I thought they came. I thought Davis was a year behind.
He was wide receiver 69.
Nice.
He really was.
We are not that show. I don't associate.
We are
that.
100% that show. That's not even if
we are 2/3 that show.
If there were a number to describe our show, I think 69 would
Jesus
sum
Christ,
it up. Well.
let's move along.
Okay. Rapid fire. All right. Who lands where? We have, I think, 10 names that Josh has put down. We say where are they going to land. We'll start with Kyra, wrap to Ryan, to Josh, and then to me. Kyra, where do you think Davante Adams goes?
I mean, I hear so many rumblings about them making room for this cap space. I hear they're 100% going to franchise him. If he doesn't go back to the Packers, then I say he goes to the Raiders. That's my take.
Okay.
But I think it's Packers.
Ryan.
Green Bay.
Josh.
Kira and I are on the same wavelength. It's either Packers with Rogers or Raiders with Carr. Those are the two people he's most familiar with.
Yep.
I have Broncos with Rogers. So
that'd be cool. That was something I liked the idea of. I just don't know if we have.
Yeah. And I would like to say RIP to my Cortland Sutton shares at that point, because that would be tough.
Well, that's RIP to everyone's shares, because Davante Adams is getting targeted 170 times. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
And in thin
all
air,
that money they spent on Sutton and Tim Patrick. Yeah. What was the point at that?
Out the window. Absolutely out the window. Hey, Tim Patrick.
It's not happening. Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams will be Green Bay Packers.
Probably, but we don't know.
What was that whole last dance crap? They had us all messed the hell up thinking, that's the only thing that keeps getting me, literally, is I'm like, well, they really thought it was going to be the last year. So maybe it will be. But, ultimately, most teams, most free agents, they don't always change colors. So we'll see.
Calvin Ridley, Kyra.
Oh, I hope the Philadelphia Eagles so bad. I'm so biased. I want him to be with the Eagles.
Ryan.
Philadelphia.
Josh.
I like the idea of Philly, but I'm going to go Miami.
It's a good call, too.
I think Miami will make a play. They've got some cap space. Atlanta, or the whole Alabama connection down there with Waddle and Tua. I think they can do some things down there. And honestly, maybe Ridley's just better as a 1B. Maybe that has to do with it too.
Yeah.
No, he's
I'm just saying. I said maybe.
You can go be the 1B to the Slim Reaper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Godwin. Oh, sorry. I'll Ridley. Yeah, Eagles. I don't care. Chris Godwin. Kyra.
Chris Godwin. I'm gonna say.
You got it.
I have two. I have two that I would say. I like him with the Patriots. That's one of I said it seemed like a right fit. But like my pipe dream would be like if he went to Kansas City. I think that they're good enough to like he tore his ACL pretty late in the year. The average comeback time from that is 9 to 12 months, more likely probably somewhere in the middle there at like 11 months or something. They're good enough that they could play without him those first couple months. He comes in, puts that offense over the top to go against everyone in the AFC. Those teams just have gotten so much better. They need to add a wide receiver too. We've been saying it year after year after year that they need to do that. And if they added Godwin, I think that would take them over the top, but probably not going to happen.
I had never even considered that, and
Really?
I can't explain how much my heart would grow if Chris Godwin played.
I
for
thought
the
about
Kansas
it
City
today.
Chiefs.
It had me on a rant.
I'm short of breath right now.
Yeah.
The Jets. He's gonna ruin every beautiful thing that my favorite Kyra just said, and he's gonna go sign with the Jets instead.
You're probably not wrong.
Josh.
My dream scenario is Philly, putting him in the slot between Watkins as the speed guy on the outside, Smith as the reliable outside threat, and just providing a decent receiving option for them for Jalen Hurts as they just continue to run the ball and make everybody irrelevant in terms of fantasy.
Arizona. It's not going to happen, but that'd be cool to see him there. If we're just going with cool scenarios we'd like to see, I'll go with Arizona. Mike Williams, Kyra.
I think he stays with the Chargers. I don't think that they'll let him go. But if they were to get rid of Mike Williams, I think that the Bears should go after him. That's my personal opinion.
Brian.
I'm gonna say he stays with the Chargers.
Josh.
I think he stays with the Chargers too. I also wouldn't be shocked if maybe Detroit makes a play for him. They need an outside threat.
Detroit cannot ruin another Mike Williams.
I know, right?
Clearly. He will stay in LA. He is not going anywhere. He will be a Charger.
Yeah, I don't see him moving. They have decent cap space themselves too. They just can load back up.
Yeah, they have the second most cap space. Juju Smith-Schuster, Kyra.
Juju. I don't know. Maybe he goes back to the Ravens. Maybe they like circle back on that idea. If not there, then I mean, he might hate it, but maybe he'll go to the Patriots.
If he goes to the Patriots, I will riot. I will riot.
Where's the worst possible spot for Joe's mental? For Juju
Smith-Schuster in New England.
It's not New England. He's gonna go join Mahomes' brother and become the single greatest TikTok entity that has ever existed. No, I think Juju ends up in KC for real, though.
Josh.
I think KC's ideal. I know they made a strong play for him last year, and I don't think that's going to fade much at all. I mean, we've seen Juju play really well opposite a really good wide receiver. They already have a really good wide receiver with Tyreek. The thing is, they've run Tyreek so much out of the slot. Putting Juju on that team makes it just so redundant, and I feel like it would take way too long for them to figure that out.
They're another offense, though, specifically with Tyreek. They move him everywhere, though. Like
I know they move him, but like when the ball is snapped, he's out of the slot.
Yeah, but I'm saying like that doesn't really affect. Juju can line up on one side of the field.
And they do run a lot of bunch, like keep the two wide, like close to the line of scrimmage. Like Andy Reid's still the best offensive coordinator in the NFL.
Tyreek takes 2 seconds to get wherever you need him to go.
Yep.
TikTok.
Although I will say he could be an option for Arizona if they lose Christian Kirk.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Because I think he's going to end up with another 1-year deal, and I think that's the route that Arizona is probably going to have to go. Is they're going to sign these veterans to, short-term deals for these like playoff pushes because they're ultimately going to have to save money to pay Kyler. So.
Yep.
Tick. Talk. He would
That's
be.
where Juju's going.
He would be an idiot to sign with an NFL team. He would legitimately would be an idiot to sign with an NFL team. You know how much money he would make as a TikTok and streamer and influencer? He'd make more money in a freaking month than he would in an entire season in the NFL.
You're probably not wrong.
Like, go be a TikTok star. Go be the person that you want to be, Juju, and that's a TikTok star. We all know it. We all see it. Just go be a TikTok star.
I wouldn't be surprised if he just re-signed with Pittsburgh too. He took like
that's where I think he goes if he doesn't. I think he resigns in Pittsburgh.
With no Big Ben, I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
I think he resigns in Pittsburgh to play 2 games, fake an injury, and be a TikTok star. Brandon Cooks. Does anyone think he's not going to be in Houston? I guess I'll just ask that because I think he goes. I think he just stays in Houston.
I say stays.
I think he leaves. I think they'll end up trading him.
Okay.
Oh. So is he a trade or a free agent?
He's a trade.
He's a trade.
Okay. I don't think he goes anywhere. Houston has showed the propensity for running back what they did last year for whatever reason. So why move your best player?
I think Cook stays. Yeah, I don't think he moves anywhere.
I think they'll move him, and these are the 2 places that I'd like to see him. One being more realistic than others. One being KC. Cooks can play on the outside, and then you can keep moving Hill around, let him play out of the slot. That gives them more of a reliable outside threat. The other one I think would be a good fallback option, the Raiders, if they're not able to bring in Davante Adams.
That one would be
they actually have enough cap space to where they could make that deal work.
I was just going to say they have pieces they could send. I don't know that KC has anything to send Houston that's going to be
draft picks at that point.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce.
Straight up.
Straight up. Cooks for Kelce. Straight up.
Wow, Kelce and Waller in the same offense? Holy crap.
No.
Nope. That'll be the Kansas City, you moron.
Kelce and Brevin Jordan, baby.
Sorry, I got ahead of myself. Yeah, I love that one. There you go. Of course, that would sink all my Brevin Jordan dynasty shares. So.
Yeah. Amari Cooper. This would also be a trade. So the reason this is brought up, he has the highest cap hit of any receiver this year, I believe, at $20 million. 22 million, excuse me. His dead cap is 6. So if they outright release him, they save 16. If they cut him or trade him after June 1st, it's a $2 million dead cap. So in reality, Dallas could save 20 million on the cap by trading or cutting Amari Cooper. I still think he stays and restructures in Dallas. Kyra?
I would have to agree with that, him staying, because I don't think that they re-sign Gallop or anything like that. He's not somebody that I think that they're going to target. I think they'll try to ride out Cooper one more year. If not, it's got to be one of those free agent teams with like a shit ton of money with a need for wide receiver, maybe like the Dolphins, the Jags, the Bears, something like that.
Ryan?
Dallas is so close to putting a stranglehold on this division. I cannot imagine they give up this quickly. So no, he'll be in Dallas.
Josh?
I think the only way he gets released is if he decides not to restructure his contract. So I think he sticks around.
Christian Kirk, where's the ultimate deciding decision, Kyra?
Oh, man, what did I say earlier? Where did I want him?
We said the Jets a lot.
The Jets. I think I said I liked him in Buffalo is where I want him to go.
Ryan?
Buffalo to replace Beasley.
I think Kirk ends up in Chicago.
Josh?
The 2 teams I'm looking at, Indy and the Jets, and I think the Jets will ultimately throw more money at them. The Jets or the Colts seem to be more money conscious. They're not the type that'll go into bidding wars on players. The Jets will.
I think he ends up with the Jets because of the bidding war as well. Odell Beckham Jr., Kyra?
Probably back with the Rams.
Ryan?
100% back with the Rams.
Josh?
Agreed. Rams.
He's either back with the Rams or the Chargers don't re-sign Mike Williams and he plays opposite Keenan Allen because that dude is not leaving LA.
Well, it's a confirmed ACL tear, right? So it's unlikely he's playing in September.
He's just not going to wind up in a shit scenario ever again. Like he's not going to go through what he's went through with the Giants and the Browns. So wherever he goes, it's a contender and someone that's going to use him.
Yep. Michael Gallop, Kyra?
Michael Gallop, I would like to see either with the Bears or honestly, it sucks for him, but maybe the Lions.
Ryan?
This is why we host a show together, Kyra. I promise you I have Chicago or Detroit, but since I already sent someone to Chicago, I'll send him to Detroit.
He's so versatile, he could line up wherever, and like Detroit and the Bears need that. So I'll take him there.
Josh?
Yeah, I think teams that are interested in Mike Williams, if they miss on him, Gallop will be their fallback. They're very similar players.
Yeah, Gallop would be a nice fit for the Chargers if they do lose Williams.
Yeah,
so.
well, and I think that was a lot of the motivation for the Chargers in selecting Josh Palmer last year. Like, I mean, we saw, he flashed a little bit last year. So if they do end up moving on from Mike Williams, they may not even have to spend that cap space at wide receiver. They can just elevate Palmer into that role.
Oh,
I don't know if he's ready for it.
You have this young quarterback on a rookie contract. You have the best route runner in the NFL. You better go get a second wide receiver.
Then find somebody to play run defense because they need it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What was that pixelated, Josh?
Campbell or something. I don't know.
Fix your Wi-Fi before you yell at us next time. I don't hate Michael Gallup enough to send him to Detroit, so I'll just...
Detroit is going to grab somebody, and we're just going to have to feel bad for them.
They're going to...
And Amon-Ra St. Brown was another USC wide receiver. We didn't think of.
Oh, thank you. That was the one I was thinking.
God. How could we disrespect him like that?
The Sun God. I'm USC. Drake London is nasty.
I'm just going to throw out, though, Michael Gallup, ARSB, a healthy Hawkinson, DeAndre Swift. I think that's a good fucking offense.
Can you hold on, Ryan, real quick? Who's throwing him the football?
Jared Garf.
Jared Garf.
Jared Garf.
Jared Garf.
Yeah, Jared Garf.
Yeah, Jared Barf. So it doesn't matter.
I think
it doesn't matter. Allen Robinson is the last one. Kyra.
I wouldn't hate a return back to Jacksonville, but if he doesn't go there, I like him in Philly.
Do you hate Allen Robinson? Like, do you hate him personally? What did he ever do?
Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback.
Are we sure? Are we sure?
I think he's gonna. I think I am, like Ryan said, I'm pretty excited to see what Jacksonville does. I'm not gonna write off Trevor Lawrence in that shit storm that they put him in.
I am.
I think he's gonna be all right, and I think he needs a good established vet out there to help him out.
Ryan,
if I needed further proof of the chemistry of me and my co-host, I put weird feeling he goes back to Jacksonville.
Yes,
but I think it's New England.
Josh.
Yeah, the 4 teams that I'd be looking at with him: New England, Arizona on like a cheap 1-year deal, KC, cheap 1-year deal playing outside opposite Hill.
1-year deals, yeah.
Or the Raiders, yeah. He's not getting anything more than a 1-year deal after last year.
Poor Allen Robinson, pillar of consistency, year after year after year.
1 year, and we're like,
the NFL's all about what have you done for me lately? So.
Andy Dalton, Justin Fields, just tanking him. And he even did an interview where he said that like he felt Matt Nagy was like not including him in the offense or like phasing him out of the offense for some weird reason, which is weird when they did what they did. But
still scored more touchdowns than Cole Kmet.
It is a fun fact. He did still score more time. It's funny. If you multiplied Cole Kmet's touchdowns by 1,000, Allen Robinson would still have more.
It's awesome.
So I mean, is there not, like we've already talked about it, is there not the most perfect situation for Bill Belichick of a guy who has been great throughout his career, has one struggling season, everyone writes him off, Belichick brings him in on a 1-year, $3 million contract, dude goes for 1,400 yards and 12 touchdowns, and everyone's like, dang, what happened? How did we let the Patriots get this guy again?
And then what's funny is then because he's only on a 1-year deal, the Patriots let him walk, and Patriots fans are just fucking livid.
Yeah, Robinson's going to go the AJ Green route.
Yep.
At this point, he's just going to start chasing rings, I think. Because, I mean, he's getting up there in age. He's going to be 29 in August.
He just deserves a good quarterback. I don't think
that's
done.
Let's not write off
Mac
Robinson
Jones.
and AJ Green in New England with Jacoby Myers in the slot.
If the Patriots get AJ Green, I will be the first person to purchase a damn jersey.
He may not.
He's going to make the roster.
That has like Reggie Wayne going to New England written all over it and like retires in the training camp.
Reggie Wayne was like 37. Dude could barely walk at that point. What do you mean?
This is a new NFL, man. I'm just saying.
Reggie
Young
Wayne
30s is like a death sentence for everybody.
Listen. AJ Green's washed. Reggie Wayne was washed, dried, and washed again. Like that dude was done. That was Joey Galloway 2.0. Chad Ochocinco 3.0. Like that was an awful move. That was a terrible move. No one expected Reggie Wayne to make that team. AJ Green, stud. Absolute stud. I love AJ Green. All right. Kyra, thank you for joining us.
Having me, guys. You know,
Yeah.
I can't believe I've never been on, no pun intended. I swore I was.
I thought you were.
What the hell was I
know.
on?
Things.
Maybe not the Wednesday show. I think I was on like a Saturday morning.
Starts a different day.
Yeah, you
Right?
did.
Yeah.
You did stuff.
It's like there's no way I did not do stuff.
Yeah, you did things.
Yeah.
I've seen some things.
Every Sunday.
There's some stuff, man.
Yeah, and hi Faith, I see you over there in your little comments.
Hi, Faith. All right, next week I won't be here. Thank God it's the tight ends. Oh, I did literally. Ryan, I'm clapping for myself. Fuck tight ends. Fuck tight ends. I hate them.
Don't worry. I'm going to spend the entire show railing on Cole Kmet for you.
Let's go. Yeah. God.
I was so happy to
At least we have a good guest next week.
I know.
I was happy to pick between Kyra. Do you want the wide receiver free agency or the tight ends? I'm like, wide receiver, please.
Yeah. Josh always gets me to offer like people for the tight end like free agency show, and I'm like, come on, man! Like they're gonna hate me.
Just say this is what we have left.
Yeah. Well, we have someone great, Brit Flynn, second time I believe on the show. Correct?
Yeah.
Second time on the show. She's the newest member of the Fantasy Alarm team as well.
2 episodes.
She did start sick.
DFS and Phil, so
yeah,
and she did too.
Oh, she started sit.
I don't think she's done, no pun intended.
She was
yet.
on grievances. I was on grievances.
Yep.
That's the other one.
Yep. Brit Flynn, her first time on NPI, so she's awesome. She's gonna bring some electricity to the tight end show that is desperately needed. So yeah, you get to hear a lot of don't draft anyone outside of Travis Kelce and Darren Waller, and Cole Kmet didn't score a touchdown last year. That's going to be the 1 hour show next week.
1 hour.
That's the whole show.
It's his year to break out. It's Cole Kmet's third year. It's gonna happen.
I mean, the two big free agents at
Here,
tight end are who? Njoku and Gesicki, I think. Oh, Evan Ingram's a tight end, or free agent too.
Hey, you want to know a fun fact about all the free agent tight ends you just listed? Do you want to know a fun fact? They all scored more fucking touchdowns than Cole Kmet individually. Did you know that? And people still ranked Cole Kmet inside their top 12 last year as a tight end 1. Did you know that? Did you know people were telling other people to draft him? Did you know that? Blows my mind. God.
What's hilarious is you had me so nervous when you started this whole thing that I thought I had him rated highly and I didn't. And I was like, oh, thank God.
No one here had him rated highly.
No, we did
I don't
not.
think.
No, we didn't.
Oh,
good.
Oh,
that's good to hear.
You know what? I'm so excited for next season because I can't wait for Cole Kmet to once again be so irrelevant. That is what you'll get from Ryan next week on the tight end show. He's just going to relay all this amazing information, this amazing knowledge.
It's going to be a very pro Jimmy Graham show.
Oh God! Fun fact about Jimmy Graham: he scored so many more touchdowns than Cole Kmet. Did you know that? Did you know that Jimmy Graham also played like 10% of the snaps that Cole Kmet played? Oh, Lee says to give a little preview. Evan Ingram will never be on my team again. Fool me once, fool me 800 times. Lee, you want to know a fun fact about Evan Ingram?
This is me, Lee.
Lee, you want to know a fun fact about Evan Ingram? He's actually a better player on your team than Cole Kmet. Fun fucking fact for you, Lee. Oh, this will forever be my favorite ongoing joke till the end of time. There is not even a comparison. Nothing even touches it. This is the funniest thing on planet Earth to me right now. Best ongoing joke in show history. Not even close. It's not even close. All right. And also that these dumbasses put Hunter Renfrow at like wide receiver 67.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I plan on making.
I'll make sure to put him in the top 30 next year. It's okay, Joe.
Hey, it'll be double where he was last year on your rankings. So we're making progress. All right. For Kyra I'm going to get it right, Fantasy with a PH, FF Kyra. For Ryan at the Fantasy 5, Josh at the One Hudsoni, myself at Joe_Zolo. You can follow Club Fantasy on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Club Fantasy FFL. The URL is clubfantasyffl.com. Next week, you don't get me, you get Josh and Ryan with the one, the only Brit Flynn, the newest member of the Fantasy Alarm team, fellow IDP lover. So I have a soft spot in my heart there for Brit. Love her. We're looking at tight ends next week. So fire up your snooze buttons and your alarms to make sure you're awake the whole time during the show, because it's going to be a boring one, but I promise you it's going to be fun.
Wow. Thanks for the vote of confidence. Wow. Way to promote next week. Jesus
Everyone's
Christ.
setting their reminders.
Listen. It's not you guys. It's the content. And the sad part is,
a boring one.
guys, have we said one good fucking thing about a tight end this year that's not named Travis Kelce? What?
But are we not
Or
laughing
Andrew.
every time we talk about tight ends? At least it'll
I
be
just said-
entertaining.
yeah.
Jesus.
I just said, fire up your snooze buttons because you're going to fall asleep, but it's going to be funny. It's going to be funny. So get ready.
Oh my God, get us out of here.
I don't want to. I want to continue talking about Cole Kmet and the amount of touchdowns he scored last year.
Well,
Okay?
Then don't miss tight end show. Hurry up.
Yeah.
in this
Don't
thing.
miss the tight end show because Cole Kmet's touchdown number resembles an egg that you eat in the morning. Ugh. Always remember, defense wins championships. Offense wins fantasy football. We will see you next week.